welcome back to Tigerchicksresinjungle. This week's Christmas video is this Christmas tree. It is a Christmas tree that sits at the base, and it's got a, so what I'm looking for, an ornament type thing that you can put a picture in, or you could just color and hang from it. So I haven't decided what I'm doing with that yet, so I'm going to pour it in clear. But the tree I'm going to make green, the base I'm going to make brown, so it kind of look like dirt. And the star I've already painted in a mica powder sparkle gold. Alright, because it's winter here in the Northeast, I've had to warm up my resin, which just finished. The brown is going to be, the bottom is going to be this coffee, so it's like a metallic brown color. And I just got in my very first shipment of Dianka Pours pigment powder. And I decided to go with the Galactic Drift for the tree because it's kind of a green color. And I figured that'd be kind of cool for the tree. Okay, so I got to get my gloves on. I got to get my mask on. I got to mix up my resin because it's already been warmed up, so I'm going to run out of time quick. And thinking about that, I need to get this open. Look at that color. Isn't it pretty? All right, so let's close that up. And let's see if this one's open. Yes, it is. Good. Used it already once. All right, let me get my gloves on, get my mask on, and get to mixing so I can get to pouring. All right, I will be back. Okay, I'm back. And I have sped this up so everything is quite quick. I am mixing my brown, and I'm pouring some alcohol in there to dissolve the mica powder before I add the resin to it. And I'm going to do the same thing with the green. And then I'm going to pour everything. So I know I missed a video from last week. It's winter, and I'm not getting my videos out as quickly as I'd like to, just because it's harder for me to do them in the winter. I have to warm up my resin, and with the holidays coming and everything, I only do one video a week. So during the winter here, I may end up doing maybe one video every other week. So don't be surprised if there's not necessarily a video every week, but there will be a video. Hopefully you're enjoying what I've been doing. This is my Christmas series, my very first Christmas series. So I've been, getting molds because I don't have a lot of molds, especially not themed molds. So this was a brand new mold that I had just gotten a couple of weeks ago when I was looking for stuff to do for my Christmas series. Again, I'm, adding the mica powder, adding a little bit of alcohol. I'm mixing it around. This one there was a little extra, so I need a little extra help with the stick. So the stick is just helping to get it all mixed up before I add my resin. And now I'm adding my resin, mixing it up. I did run everything through. No, I didn't run it through my bubble. It's been a week now since I filmed this video, so I'm trying to remember what I did. I was going to say I ran it through my bubble remover, but I didn't. I just used my Let's Resin auto heater to heat the resin up. Which, when you do that, just so you know, your resin gets very liquidy. I mean, it goes from being like the consistency of syrup to almost the consistency of like water. It gets that like thin. But when you do that, it does shorten your working time by like 10 minutes. So, if you had 40 minutes of working time or 20 minutes of working time, by using your reheater, you've now shortened your working time by like 10 minutes. And the way that I actually use my resin heater is my bottles are too big to fit them in there. So what I do is I pour my resin, part A in one cup, part B in another cup. I put both cups in my resin heater and let them heat up, and then I combine them together. I do not put it in my resin heater already combined, because I think if you do that, you're really going to shorten or cure it right in there. So just to be safe, I separate them. Okay, sorry. I had to pause my voiceover for a minute because my cat, as you heard in the background crying, woke up from his nap and he wanted to go outside. So, I'm back. Now, I have just mixed up my green Dianka Galaxy Drift for my tree, and I've poured it in. And I'm going to take a dotting tool and just make sure that I don't have any bubbles along the edges. So I'm taking that and I'm carefully tracing around the edges of everything to make sure that I don't have any bubbles on the edge. The thing that I would do next time is, I think I would pour my ornament piece thinner. The mold is fairly thick. It's not super thick. It's probably maybe a ½ inch thick. I'm not really sure if it's a ½ inch, but it's fairly thick. You'll see when I demold it that it's a good thick piece. So I think that next time I would do the ornament piece of it thinner. And you can add pictures to it and sandwich them in between the resin. Just make sure that they're smaller so that the resin matches each other. So now I'm just about done pouring. I'm going to let this go, and we'll be back for the demolding in just a couple of minutes. Probably not even minutes. It'll be like seconds to you guys, due to the magic of editing. Hi, welcome back. It's demolding day. Okay, so everything has dried. Let's start with our base. Do that one first. I ran out of resin and I decided I wasn't going to bother filling it up. It's just a base. So here is the bottom. Look at that. Pretty. Okay. And we've got our star. And we've got our ornament. Those I filled. Now let's do the ornament first. See how that turned out. Ooh, beautiful, crystal clear. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And now we've got our tree. See how our tree turned out. All right, let's see here. Let's get our tree out. Let's see how it turns out. All right. And there we go. Ooh, isn't it pretty? Look at that. Now it sits in here like this. Beautiful, beautiful. I do have to do a little trimming on the back side, just a little bit, so it's a little sharp. But we've got our gold star, got our base, and doesn't it look cute? And then we've got our circle, which hangs just like this. Now, what I was thinking is, let me get these out of the way. I was thinking about, you can put anything you want on here. You can put a picture. You can color it a certain color and leave it whatever color you want to hang it on here. You could do anything you want in the middle of this. So I decided this time around, I think I'm going to put this little snowman on there. And then he could be hanging in the tree. Isn't he cute? All right, let me get my deburring tool here so that I can deburr a little bit so I don't cut myself. We don't want that. So we've got a little bit here on the back of this to do. There we go. Got a little bit more. And then it'll be done. At least this part. Be careful, I don't want to scratch it. There we go. That looks good. Got a little bit to do on here. So that we don't cut ourselves on here either. Get this all cleaned up. There we go. Do a little bit of this. All right. Do a little bit of this. There we go. That cleaned up. And that cleaned up. A little bit more there. A little bit more here. All right, there we go. Beautiful. And last but not least, our tree. Let's see if we can't get this cleaned up. Let's see how we do. Deburring tool is not my favorite thing. I feel like I am not that good at it. But practice makes perfect, right? The more you do something, the better you get at it. Don't want to cut anybody. So you gotta smooth out these edges here. Of course, you know, oopsie. Sorry. I always end up banging the camera. Well, maybe not always. But I do it a lot. Because I have it down so low. Sorry if my videos are not as steady, or as, well, yeah, steady, I guess it's a word. Or on time, maybe, I don't know. Because it's winter. I have to warm up my resin before I use it. So it just makes it a little bit harder for me to do resin. And this star, I just can't seem to figure out the angle to get it. All right. This is good. All right, we're good. Okay, we've got the star, which, now that we've trimmed it up a little bit, could probably use a little glue, which we will do. Easy peasy. There we go. All right, let's get those out of the way. Now the plan is, for this one, to stick this little snowman on here And I think I've got to cut off just a little tiniest bit, because I want him right there. I want him, yeah, I want it just like that. So I'll have just the tiniest bit to cut off. So I think we'll stick him on and then we'll cut off the excess, because it will just be easier. All right. Okay, so I changed my mind. I actually trimmed off the little tiny bit I didn't need right there. Got it. There we go. Finally. Here we go. Trying to lay this down so I don't get any bubbles. Oh, look at that. Perfect. Just perfect. I might have a couple of bubbles, but I can get those out. Okay. And now we just pull off this and gather up my sticky stuffs. I got a couple of tiny little pins. Had some of this twine hanging around from a couple of years ago. And it's just the perfect color for Christmas stuff. Let me cut off a little tiny piece of it, because I don't think we need much. That's probably way too much. Let's see. Oh, it fits through there perfectly. All right, we don't need much, so I'm just going to cut off maybe that much. All right. We've threaded through here. And now we can thread it through here. Get my scissors out of my way. All right, let's see. And now we will, let's see, thread this through here. There we go. And there we go. Look at that. But either way, for now, it'll work. Now, let's get the stand over here. So, but it's good enough for now. If I can get to tying it up. There we go. Do this again. There we go. Okay, so that's how it's going to look. And it just sits here on the base like this. I'll lay it down. See, there. Beautiful. Now, because the base is not as thick as it should be, my tree is not standing up very well, but all I got to do is glue it and we'll be all good. Just what I was planning on doing on it anyways. I do love this color. Do you not love this color for this tree? That was the Dianka Galatic drift. It's a beautiful green. It worked perfectly on this tree. And my star came out very nice. I think this was perfect. It's beautiful. I think I'll put this on my mantle for Christmas this year. I'll glue this to its base, just like that. And we'll get some pictures. And we'll be good. All right, so if you liked what I did and you're enjoying my videos, please like and subscribe. By liking the content, it doesn't cost anything. It does help the channel so that my videos get pushed out for more people to see, especially since I'm a fairly new YouTube creator. You know, this is what, I think my 20th video. I've only been doing this since I think May, and it's now November, so about 6 months or so. So Anyways, this is it for this video. I want to wish everybody, whether you're in the United States or not, a happy holidays and a happy Thanksgiving. Until next week, bye.